so they can get them going right now.
Yes, sir.
Is that okay?
Yep, absolutely. This is a proclamation guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion based on the current crisis at the southern border. It invokes various executive powers relating to the ongoing invasion at the southern border.
Mr. President, what makes you confident that those are not going to be blocked by the courts?
I don't think they will. I don't think they can be. They're very straight up. Why don't you take that and go over here? Could you get him over here, not on the side angle? Do you mind? Just go right over here.
Do you mind?
Friends. Okay.
With your
Sir,
friends.
this is an executive order realigning the United States refugee admission program to better align with American principles and American interests.
Okay.
Oh, he has to be exhausted.
Is about protecting America from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. Again, crisis at the border, but it goes beyond that and it implicates other executive powers as well.
Okay.
You know, I always wondered if Trump had extra hair on his head, but no, I mean, you see the scalp right there.
President Trump, if cartels are now going to be seen as foreign terror organizations, would you think about ordering U.S. Special Forces into Mexico to take them out?
Could happen.
Wow.
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened.
And that was actually,
that Maduro will accept Venezuelans?
Say it.
How will you make sure that Maduro will accept Venezuelans?
Well, we're going to see on Venezuela. We're looking at Venezuela very strongly. It's a country I know very well for a lot of reasons, and it's boy, it was
Probably
a
has
great
money
country 20
laundering
years
going
ago,
through.
and now it's a mess, right?
Sir, can we expect ICE raids starting tomorrow in major cities?
What does that mean?
Can we expect ICE raids in major cities?
I
ICE.
don't want to say when, but it's going to happen. Has to happen, or we're not going to have a country left.
this is actually an executive order designating the cartels and other organizations to be foreign terrorist organizations.
That's a big one.
Yes, sir.
People have wanted to do this for years. So they are now designated as terrorist organizations.
Wow, that's it.
And
Cartels are now the terrorist organizations.
probably doesn't want that.
So Cartel de Sol, M13,
What's right?
all terrorist organizations now.
They're killing
Interesting.
250, 300,000 American people a year. Not 100, like has been reported for 15 years. It's probably 300,000.
This is an executive.
Wow.
Mexico doesn't want that, how are you gonna deal with this?
I don't know, you'll have to ask them.
Sir, this is an executive order entitled Protecting the American People Against Invasion, which again deals with the southern border and the unprecedented admission of illegal aliens across the southern border.
What do you see the biggest national security threat to the U.S., Mr. President?
Who is this? Who is this Chinese spy?
Say?
What's going to be your priority on foreign policy? What do you see as the biggest
Well,
national
foreign
security
policy is a
threat?
big statement. I mean, my priority on foreign policy, it's going to keep
America first?
me to keep America
That sounds like,
safe.
yeah, that sounds like a Chinese diplomat right there if I've ever heard of one.
Question, though. That's a very big question.
Who is going to be the first foreign leader
What'd I do?
you plan to meet?
So
or
you,
who will
Rebecca
call tomorrow
Yaros
in your first
I've
interview?
already been
released
meeting
her
people. I've
Spotify
been meeting them.
playlist
I've been
for
talking
this
to them.
Oh, is it all sad music?
Oh,
I met
Chula.
with Prime Minister Trudeau.
So,
like
hold on.
Governor Trudeau.
Yo, what's up, Jay?
I met
towards
with,
the last of it
numerous foreign
is
leaders.
Taylor Swift's song "You're
Sir,
Losing
This,
Me," and it's
this next order relates to the definition of birthright
Yeah,
citizenship
sweetheart.
under the 14th Amendment of the United States.
What book is this? The Fourth Wing?
Right.
Onyx Storm. It's the
That's a
third
big one.
Onyx Storm? Who's all my book readers out there?
I have
Onyx
Ryerson,
Storm.
Ryerson right
could be
here,
right.
Ryerson
You'll
House,
find out.
Shadow Downey Zayden.
It's ridiculous.
But
We're the only
literally,
country in the world that does this with birthright, as you know.
and it
I
and
mean,
it's
just
and she
absolutely ridiculous, but,
strategically
you know,
made the
we think it-
playlist
we
to
have very
like
good
go
grounds.
through the flow of
Sure,
how
people
the
have
book
wanted to do this
like
for
it last
this
song
is a proclamation
is
declaring a national
Hallelujah.
emergency at the southern border.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So who
It's a big
fucking
one.
dies?
A lot of big ones, huh?
Hallelujah.
And right, and three songs before that is "You're Losing Me" by Taylor Swift.
Oh.
Stop. You're losing me. Like,
Don't they leave it in the desk? I don't know.
where's my headphones? I'm having,
Thank you, Peter. It could have been
like,
years.
I don't know if
before
I
we
can
got it.
finish Iron Flame.
Go
I
ahead.
wanna-
Thank you.
I
Go
want to listen to this playlist.
That's
We
funny.
should all read it together. Well, maybe I'll read it first. And
Oh,
then
and if I would have booked through Expedia, I would have
Thank you
saved us
very much. I may not have seen
$150.
this for months.
Happy to help with the passing of the torch.
Katie's
I did. I
realizing
left
that too, and she had to book 2 rooms, so she would have saved $300. But there's no more book rooms left, and I'm like, I don't want to cancel my
Unification of our
reservation
country. You know, I didn't
because
know that
all
he
of our family's staying there.
gave a pardon
So I'm
to
biting
his
bullet.
family because he did it during my
$150.
speech.
Wait, hold on. Say that again.
He said if I would have booked through Expedia, I would have saved us
They released it during my
$150.
speech.
Oh, yeah,
I
but
mean,
you didn't.
During my speech.
I booked through the
So all I
hotel,
could
and they
do
won't cry
was
for
say,
it.
excuse me,
Got
I'd
it.
like to come back and speak
But I don't
some
want to
more.
cancel in hopes that it'll
No,
pop
it
up
was
on
surprising.
Expedia.
It'll be fine.
You know. I just feel bad for Katie because she booked 2
Of course,
rooms.
Jay. I gotta support a brother. You support me, I gotta support you. I didn't realize you played Destiny.
Well,
I think we probably talked about
going
this.
back
I
to
feel so
him.
bad.
of 25% on Mexico and Canada because they're allowing vast numbers of people. Canada's a very bad abuser also. Vast numbers of people to come in and fentanyl to come in.
Behind every gamer boyfriend is a girl who likes to read books. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
What's your class? What do you run? I did Titan.
All right.
Titan Void was my
One
shit.
each.
I love you.
This is an executive
Except no,
order
Titan
taking a
Strand.
large number
Titan
of
Strand.
executive actions to secure our southern
You get to be
border.
Wolverine.
Sounds reasonable.
Warlock. I should download Destiny and we should do a day where we just play some Crucible.
The top threat to the country was going to be North Korea. Did Joe Biden tell you what he thinks the top threat to the country?
I'm not gonna lie. Once I get my footing down again, dude, I was kind of
I think we have a lot
gross.
of them.
I was
Right
kind
now,
of
I
gross.
think we have a lot. I think
Sniper
North Korea
burst
turned out
rifle.
to be good. I was very friendly with
Depending
them.
on the
They liked
SMG,
me. I
maybe
liked
throw an
them.
SMG in
We
there.
got along very well.
Sounds fun. Hell yeah.
They thought
I love
was
Destiny.
A tremendous threat. Now he is
Logi's also a
nuclear
big
power.
Destiny guy. I hate to
We
see
get
where it's
along.
at. You know what I mean?
I think
Destiny,
we'll be
its
happy to
peak
see
was
him coming
peak.
back. I
There
think he
needs.
has
I wonder what the
tremendous
next game will be of
capabilities.
Destiny. You know what I mean?
He's got a lot of shoreline.
Thank you, sir.
Are we going to work with countries from South America?
And just FYI, I got you tabbed up here on my other monitor, brother.
About who?
About immigration in general.
This is an executive order. Sorry, sir.
I'm fine with legal immigration. I like it. We need people, and I'm absolutely fine with it. We want to have it. We need it because we're going to have a lot of companies coming in to avoid tariffs. You know, if you don't want tariffs, all you have to do is build your plant in the U.S. So we're going to have a lot of workers coming in, but we have to have legal immigration.
Clyde is stuck in the light. Yeah. I mean, I still follow like Astacross. I still keep up with the lore. Or like, my name is Biff.
No? You tell
Hello,
me.
my name is Biff.
Say it again.
China. China.
Well, as you know, I put on large tariffs on China, and they've really been forced to leave them. And if we didn't leave them, you wouldn't have one steel mill that's open in this country.
Jay, I know you're gaming, so whenever you have a moment, don't feel free to don't rush on this. But like, what do you think? Would you rather see like a Destiny 3, or would you rather see Destiny 2 just drop its name and just be Destiny, and then kind of like move forward that way?
Didn't work, and other reasons too.
Or to me personally,
We're gonna have
I think go ahead, close out the story.
President Xi. I spoke to President
Sometimes
Xi
it's good to
last
let
week.
like a good story end, you know, like once it's gone, like let it go, and then move on to the next one. Yeah, I'm super excited for like Marathon.
No, NATO has to pay more money. NATO has to pay 5%. We are, we're in the Ukraine war by $200 billion more than NATO. It's ridiculous because it affects them a lot more. We have an ocean in between. And we've spent $200 billion more on Ukraine than
Just be
NATO has
Destiny
spent.
continued chapters indefinitely, or would you prefer the story to end?
Did you talk to Xi about the Ukraine war?
Yeah.
Because China and Brazil together has a proposal to bring Russia and Ukraine to talk.
That's good. That's fine. I'm ready.
When are you going
That's
to talk
good.
with the Brazilian
How did
president?
Brazil get involved?
Brazil
This is a new one.
When are you going to talk to Lula?
Are you from Brazil?
From Brazil.
Ah,
When are you
that's
talking?
why they're involved, I guess.
When are you going to talk with the Brazilian president? How do you see our relationship with Latin America and Brazil?
Great, should be great. They need us much more than we need them. We don't need them, they need us. Everybody needs us.
No, shit.
Mr. President, it sounds like you will not proceed with additional China tariffs necessarily, depending on how talks go with President Xi, is that correct?
What does that, define that?
Well, we are asking, you pledged in the campaign potentially a 10% tariff on China or as much as
Because of
6%.
fentanyl.
Right, so I'm asking where your.
That's only because of fentanyl, there are other things too.
Are additional.
And a
China
very
tariffs-
big thing is the Panama Canal.
This is
China
huge.
controls the Panama Canal. What's that all about? They're not supposed to be good. When Jimmy Carter gave it, which was a terrible mistake, he didn't do it. He didn't give it to China. He gave it to Panama.
And
And China controls the Panama Canal.
So are China tariffs
And
still
we're not
on the
going to
table?
allow that to happen.
Are they still on the table or is that? off?
We're not going to allow that to happen.
Thank you, sir.
What can we expect of the
dude, he has a lot of signing to do. Holy
amount of
shit.
money, like Spain, France, below the 5%?
Spain is very low. And yet, are they a BRICS nation?
What?
They're a BRICS nation, Spain.
How is
You
that?
know what a BRICS nation is? You'll figure it out.
Huh.
But, and if the BRICS nations want to do that, that's okay, but we're going to put at least a 100% tariff on
At
the business we do
least.
with the United States. You know what the
Oh
BRICS
my
is.
god.
You guys know.
Brazil,
You know what I'm saying.
Britain, Russia, India, China, South Africa.
Sir, this is an,
So
this
it's
is,
not even a threat. In fact, since I made that statement, Biden said, well, they have us over a barrel. I said, no, we have them over a barrel. And there's no way they're going to be able to do that.
this is an executive order relating to,
100% tariffs, those countries?
Let's see, where's the Trump coin at now?
As a
Oh,
BRICS
it's down
nation,
bad.
yes.
$32? Oh, I'm
100%
losing
tariff
super big money
If
now.
they so much as even think about doing what they thought,
Can you explain how is
which,
it?
and therefore they'll give it up immediately. So will China give it up.
sir, this is about reforming the system of hiring in the federal government to ensure that merit is the lodestar of hiring decisions
As
as
per
opposed
the Supreme Court.
to other matters. Yes, sir.
This is a big deal, merit. Our country is going to be based on merit again.
Oh, I like
Can you
that.
believe it?
Mr. President, you had said you would end the Russia-Ukraine war on your first day in office. Where do things stand right now, and how do you intend?
Well, this is only half a day. I have another half a day left. We'll see. We
Sir.
want to get it done,
This is an order creating and implementing the Department of Governmental Efficiency, known as DOGE.
okay? That's a big one.
Is Elon Musk gonna get a West Wing office?
No, he's getting an office for about 20 people that we're hiring to make sure that these get implemented. We have a problem in this country. You sign an executive order, it doesn't get done for 6 months. As an example, when we allow the J6 hostages to go out, it might not be approved under the old days for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months. You know, they had a good ruling from the Supreme Court, and it's like nothing happened. That ruling was 6 months ago, you know that. And it was like they didn't have a ruling. They've been treated very unfair. The judges have been absolutely brutal. The prosecutors have been brutal. Nobody's ever treated people in this country like that.
Mr. President, are you commuting the sentences of anyone who assaulted a police officer on January 6th?
Well, we're looking at 2 police officers, actually, that Washington police officers who went after an illegal, and things happened and they ended up putting them in jail. They got 5-year jail sentences. You know the case. And we're looking at that.
I'm not familiar
in
with the
order to
case.
Give them we got to give them a break.
But is there clemency in your actions today for anyone?
Well, it would be a
who
pardon.
assaulted
That would be a
police
pardon.
officer?
The one I'm talking about would be a pardon.
Here you go, sir. This is
Should
an,
there be punishment for the people who assaulted law enforcement officers that day?
Well, I will say this, they've been in jail for a long time already. I see murderers in this country get 2 years, 1 year, and maybe no time. So they've already been in jail for a long time. These people have been destroyed. What they've done to these people is outrageous. There's rarely been anything like it in the history of our country. And even people that were aggressive, and in many cases, I believe they happen to be outside agitators, but, you know, What do I know, right? But I think they were outside agitators. There were outside agitators involved. And obviously the FBI was involved because Ray admitted the FBI was involved. Didn't he say 23 people, indirectly or directly, were involved? And it was then 26. That's a lot of people. Now we have, we got to take care of these people have been treated so badly. It's never happened before. What happened in Seattle where they took over a big portion of the city? What happened in Portland where they burn down the city every day and people die? Nothing happened to anybody. But they go after these people violently. I mean, they're still going after brand new people. They found somebody else with a picture. There's never been anything like this. And you know, it's almost 100%. Think of this, almost 100% of the people are convicted. 100%. It's Washington, D.C. People go into a trial and they say, oh, I have a wonderful lawyer and I didn't do anything wrong. And they end up in shackles almost immediately and jail. No, we're not going to let it happen.
About doing that, you have shown interest in buying it, but is there any other option that would satisfy you?
This
About
lady
what?
is definitely a Chinese spy.
Buying it.
Finland?
Greenland.
Oh, Greenland. Greenland is a wonderful place. We need it for international security. And I'm sure that Denmark will come along. I think it's costing them a lot of money to maintain it, to keep it. The people of Greenland are not happy with Denmark, as you know. I think they're happy with us. We had representatives, my son and representatives went up there 2 weeks ago, and they like us. So we'll see what happens. But Greenland is necessary, not for us, it's necessary for international security. You have Russian boats all over the place. You have China boats all over the place, warships. And they can't maintain it.
When are you going to be talking to Vladimir Putin?
Who?
Do you plan to meet President Putin, sir?
I'll be meeting with President Putin.
When?
I don't know. I can't. It's being set up.
Your first trip foreign that might be
Why? This lady is a Chinese spy.
So
She is
first foreign
asking
trip
the wrong question.
typically has been with UK, but we did it. I did it with Saudi Arabia last time because they agreed to buy $450 billion worth of our product. I said I'll do it, but you have to buy American product, and they agreed to do that. They bought $450 billion. It was the least reported story I've ever been involved in.
And now, where are you planning to go now?
Well, I don't know. If Saudi Arabia wanted to buy another 450 or 500, we'll up it for all the inflation.
Mr. President, you say you were going
think
to
I'd
end the
probably go
wars first day. How do you plan to end the Ukraine war?
Well, we're going to try and get it done as quickly as possible.
Do you want to push Israel and Saudi
It should have
Arabia?
never started. You know, the war with Ukraine and Russia should have never started. It would have never started if I were president.
What does he mean by that? I would like for him to expand on that.
Normalize relations.
I don't think I have to push him. I think it's going to happen, but maybe not quite yet. But they'll end up being in
Yo, what's up, Shuby?
the Accords, the Abraham Accords.
Namaskaros.
President Trump,
I think Saudi Arabia will end up being
It's also Ola,
in
but
the
with an
Abraham
H.
Accords.
this year?
Could be, but soon. Not in a very long way. Oh, look at that! It says TikTok.
President
My,
Trump,
my,
That's the
what
correct.
is
That's
that
the
all
correct
about?
way to
First,
say
we have
that.
Alaska, sir. This is an executive order relating to unleashing Alaska's potential as an energy reservoir for the entire nation.
The H
And what
is
about
silent.
Anwar.
I believe that would be included in aspects of the
So
order.
we're opening up Anwar.
So
on the TikTok piece, President Trump, you and your members of your team now used to warn about the dangers of TikTok spying on Americans.
Just letting you know,
What
brother.
changed that you're not worried about that anymore?
I was picking up
Well,
what you're
it
putting
depends
down.
on the deal. I mean, I may not do the
This
deal,
guy's
I
been
may
going
do the
all
deal.
day.
TikTok
I thought this was
is
done.
worthless.
It was never done.
Worthless.
I
if
failed
don't
you
approve
guys.
it.
I failed. I'm
It has to
sorry.
close. I learned that from the people that own it. If I don't do the deal, it's worthless, worth nothing. If I do the deal, it's worth maybe $1 trillion, $1 trillion. So if I do the deal I'm talking about doing it for the United States. If I do the deal for the United States, then I think we should get half.
The TikTok CEO.
In other words, I think the U.S. should be entitled to get half of TikTok. And congratulations, TikTok has a good partner. And that would be worth, could be $500 billion or something. It's crazy. The numbers are crazy. But it's worthless if the president doesn't sign, then it's worthless. if the president does sign, it's worth maybe $1 trillion. So I think, like a joint venture, I think we would have a joint venture with the people from TikTok. We'll see what happens. I mean, that's one of many ideas I've
The
had.
CEO seems down. Did he say that he's open to that idea?
Who?
The CEO of TikTok is around.
Oh, I think he'd probably like it, because he's got nothing. I mean, they really have nothing. It's passed in Congress. It gives the president a right to make a deal or to close it. And we have 90 days to make that decision. But I could see making a deal where the U.S. gets 50% of TikTok, polices it a little bit or a lot, depends on them. But remember, they make telephones in China. They make all sorts of things in China. Nobody ever complains about that. Here they're complaining about this. There's so many different products made in China, and nobody ever complained about it. The only one they complain about is TikTok. And TikTok is largely young people. I guess I have a warm spot for TikTok that I didn't have originally. But, you know, I went on TikTok, and I won young people up by 36%, Peter. And Republicans typically don't do too well with young people. But it's a different Republican Party.
Would the U.S. government
TikTok
buy a
executive
portion
order,
of
sir.
TikTok then, or how would it get that 50%?
No, you take 50% of TikTok for the approval that TikTok could continue in business. And they'd have a great partner. The U.S. would be their partner. But the U.S. essentially would be paid for doing that half of the value of TikTok.
Would there be a private sector owner as
Could
well
be,
in the
yeah,
U.S.?
could be a lot. Tell you what, every rich person has called me about TikTok
I
You
bet.
would block
I bet they
TikTok.
have.
Why did you change your mind?
because I got to use it. And remember, TikTok is largely about kids,
What a
young kids. If
what a
China's-
fair answer. Hey, why did you change your mind? Oh, I used it. I had a different opinion once I used it.
Chinese
To be honest with you, I think
How
we
fair?
have bigger problems than that.
How
But you know, when you take a look at telephones that are made in China and all the other things that are made in China, military equipment made in China, TikTok, I think TikTok is not their biggest problem. But there's big value in TikTok if it gets approved. If it doesn't get approved, there's no value. So if we create that value, why aren't we entitled to like half?
Sir, if you don't-
What a businessman. Holy shit.
Does Biden ever do news conferences like this? How many news conferences, Peter, has he done like this?
Like this?
None.
0.
And it would be zero for the next infinity. For infinity, it would be zero.
Mr. President, when you plan to talk to President Musk, going to help implement the executive orders? I think you mentioned
No,
implementation.
Elon, no. Elon's very busy sending rocket ships up to various places with lots of satellites on them.
What is your reaction to the confirmation of Marco Rubio, and what does it mean for Latin America?
Which one?
Marco Rubio.
tonight.
as the-
Marco Rubio. You said Marco.
Marco Rubio.
Yeah, he's, I think
Marco.
he's great. I think Marco's doing a fantastic job. I think he's going to get a lot of votes. I think he's going to be at 90% or something. I mean, I'm hearing very good. People know him. They know him in the Senate. They know he's good. He's doing a good job. I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know what's going to happen with that. He's got some very strong ideas.
What
Marco.
is that signature?
Which one did you sign, Mr. President?
Did you sign the TikTok order?
Yeah,
Yes, that was just.
President Marco Rubio's ideas is
just signed it.
How many did you
still
sign?
changing
Are you going to
Venezuela,
sign?
changing power. Are you still committed with Maduro leaving power in Venezuela?
Well, we're going to find out about that too, because we're going to probably stop buying oil from Venezuela. We don't need their oil.
Damn.
Another embargo like the first term?
Well, it could be, but we don't want to buy. We don't have to buy their oil. We have plenty of oil for ourselves, so
President Trump,
that'll change Venezuela quite a bit.
President Trump, there was a lot of concern about this during the campaign. A question that only works today. Are you a dictator on day one?
No. I can't imagine even being called that. No, I believe in the sanctity of the vote. The Democrats didn't because they cheated like dogs, but I believe in the sanctity, and this was too big to rig. This last election was just too big to rig.
Mr. President,
But no,
believe in climate
really
change.
the opposite.
when do you plan to speak to President Putin?
Could be very soon.
And you've talked a bit about Ukraine and Russia, but how long do you think it would take to end that conflict? And
I have to speak to President Putin. We're going to have to find out. He can't be thrilled. He's not doing so well. I mean, he's grinding it out, but most people thought that war would have been over in about 1 week.
Yeah, no,
And now
Russia
you're into
against
3
Ukraine,
years, yeah.
it's insane.
So he can't be thrilled. It's not. making him look very good. Now, eventually, you know, I mean, it's a big machine, so things will happen, but I think he'd be very well off to end that war. We have numbers that almost 1 million Russian soldiers have been killed. About 700,000 Ukrainian soldiers are killed. Russia's bigger, they have more soldiers to lose. But that's no way to run a country.
What did your TikTok order do, Mr. President?
Just gave me the right to sell it or close it. Essentially with TikTok, I have the right to either sell it or close it.
What does that mean?
And we'll make that determination. And we may have to get an approval from China too, I'm not sure. But I'm sure they'll approve it. And if they
I'm
don't
sure
approve
they
it,
will.
it would be somewhat of a hostile act, I think. But it's good for China if it gets approved.
He's looking him straight in the eye. You guys see that on the camera?
Around after 90 days from today.
No, but it could very well be. It makes sense for it to be, because it's got tremendous value. But if we create the value by approving, you know, in other words, that approval gives it tremendous value. If that's the case, then we should be entitled to 50% as a country. You understand? You haven't heard that one before, right? That's called a joint venture. And nobody ever thought that way before. Well, I don't know. I think you have a lot of people that would be interested in TikTok with the United States as a partner.
Mr. President, what was it like walking into the Oval Office this evening?
Oh, what a great feeling. One of the better feelings I've ever had.
Do you like this town better now than in 2017?
Well, we're very experienced now. You would say nobody's ever had experience like I have. I've dealt with some very good people. I've dealt with some very bad people, and I know who the bad ones are and the good ones are. You know, don't forget, I was very successful in primarily the real estate business. And people used to say, who's worse, a politician or a vicious real estate developer?
Politician.
And I'd always say, you know, the real estate developer is far worse. But after about 3 months and getting to know scum like Adam Schiff and other people like that, I said, no, actually, real estate people are quite nice by comparison.
You said you plan to speak with President Putin soon. What about President Zelensky, and what's your message?
Yeah, I would, but he's told me he wants to make a deal. I mean, he wants to make, Zelensky wants to make a deal. I don't know if Putin does, he might not, I don't know. He should make a deal. I think he's destroying Russia by not making a deal. I think Russia's gonna be in big trouble. You take a look at their economy, you take a look at the inflation in Russia. So I would hope, I got along with him great, and, you know, I would hope he wants to make a deal.
Mr. President, are you keeping U.S. sanctions on Russia until he makes a deal?
Well, sanctions or tariffs. I think the word tariff is much better because it keeps your dollar stronger. I think tariffs are more effective. I mean, I use sanctions on Iran. Iran was broke. When I left office, Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, none. They were flat broke. And October 7th would have never happened. And I think you all know that. It would have never happened. They had no money. Now they're rich, but you know, they're weakened in a different way. I would say that the one attack by Israel really set them back. It really set them back. The Pagers, and others. You know, the attack on air defense was a bad attack for Iran.
What are you signing now, sir?
It's an executive
Right now,
order
Jay, we're
relating
just
to
kind of
reforms
watching
to the
all these
federal
executive
workforce,
orders. These are like
including
big
to the
deal
senior
for us here in
executive
America. What are you doing on Destiny?
Getting rid of all of the cancer. I call it cancer. The cancer caused by the Biden
check
administration.
out.
How confident are you, Mr. President, that you can keep the ceasefire in Gaza and conclude the 3 phases of this deal?
I'm not
You went
confident.
offline,
It's
Jay?
not our
Why'd you
war,
go
it's their
offline?
war, but
Apologize.
I'm not confident. But I think they're very weakened on the other side.
I just saw it down.
You support the 2 states?
Yeah, I was gonna raid you after
I
this.
looked at a picture of Gaza. Gaza is like a massive demolition site. That place it's really got to be rebuilt.
You got
in a
into this,
different
yeah.
Do you
I
think
understand.
about rebuilding Gaza?
way. I might. You know,
I
Gaza's
appreciate you coming by and
interesting.
hanging
It's a
out, amigo,
phenomenal
truly.
location. On the sea, the best weather. You know, everything.
Good. Now I can have somebody to talk to when I like some of the. I've had
Some
ideas
beautiful
come in
things
here,
can
but
be
I don't
done
like
with
talk
it,
to
but-
myself.
It's very interesting.
I don't want to be
But
too much
some
of a crazy person.
Fantastic things could be done with Gaza.
How do you see the future in governance for Gaza?
Well, it depends. I can't imagine you could have, well, you certainly can't have the people that were there. Most of them are dead, by the way, right? Most of them are dead.
Talking about Gaza.
They didn't exactly run it well. Run viciously and badly. So you can't have that.
Mr. President, on TikTok, sir, do you pause any decision on Chinese tariffs until you know what the resolution on TikTok will be? Are those things
No,
connected
if
at all?
China
That's what you
didn't
said.
approve it, we could put tariffs on China.
You
Don't
need to talk
forget.
to a real smart guy. You just start talking to yourself.
China charges us tariffs, and we charge them very little, except for what I did. I put a lot of, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars. But until I came along, China never paid 10 cents to this country. They ripped us off, and they never paid anything. But like, if we wanted to make a deal with TikTok, and it was a good deal, and China wouldn't approve it, then I think ultimately they'd approve it, because we'd put tariffs on China. Maybe. I'm not saying I would, but you certainly could do that. And if we said, well, if you're not going to approve it, then that's a certain hostility, and we'll put tariffs of 25, 30, 40, 50%, even 100%.
Damn.
And if we did that, I think they'd approve it.
President Trump, you've seen the other living presidents a couple times in the last few months. If you ever had to call on one of them for advice about anything that's going on here, which one would you call?
It's an interesting. Well, I thought Bill Clinton was a very good politician. I don't think he was used properly. I think they disrespected him. When Hillary was running, he came back and he said, you know, you better get up to Michigan and Wisconsin. You remember that, Peter. Every house has a Trump sign on it. And they all laughed at him because the Republicans hadn't won Michigan or Wisconsin for decades, long time. And they all laughed at Bill
Interesting
Clinton.
answer.
Like, the hell does he know? And he turned out to be right, because I won both of them. And then we just won both in this election, too. We won Wisconsin and Michigan and every other swing state. We won all the swing states, all 7. They talked about 7 swing states. We won them all.
There you go.
So,
Talking about your home
but
state.
Bill Clinton he had a great political sense, I think.
You looked like you were having a good conversation with President Obama at President
I
Carter's
was.
funeral.
And you'd like to know what it was? Oh. Everybody wants to know. I know, I wouldn't want to, but we were having some crazy conversation.
The majority
Why
had
do
Trump
you
signs.
asking a
I
question
promise
like
you,
that?
down here
You
in
don't- I don't
Georgia,
think
can
you
you
wanna
imagine
know.
how many Trump signs there were?
Tell us what you just signed.
You might be insulted.
It's an executive order relating to holding former government officials accountable for unlawful disclosure of sensitive information. This next one
The
serves as a
county I live
declaration of
in
a
and the
national
surrounding
energy
counties I
emergency.
live in are all very red.
So you also
That's
have
a big
some-
one. You know what that allows you to do? That means you can do whatever you have to do to get out of that problem. And we do have that kind of an emergency.
Is the
President
volume
Trump,
okay, guys?
At some point,
Should be.
will
Is
you
it good?
use your powers of the presidency to tell Americans who are concerned about drones
What is that signature?
Oh,
Just,
weeks
good.
ago?
Yeah,
What exactly
I
was
will.
happening? Can you tell us now?
In fact, I'd like to know because.
I mean,
I just
Atlanta
got here.
definitely was blue.
What do you think?
I just came
I feel like
here.
that's how it
I've been
predominantly
here
is,
for,
though. Like major
15
cities,
minutes now.
like mostly blue, and the
And I
suburbs
gotta
and
read
rural
this
areas
letter,
mostly
too.
red.
Because of you, I found this letter.
I can read it for you.
It's interesting. Yeah, I knew you would. Your father would too.
But is it anything, these drones, is it anything that people need to be worried
No,
about?
I think it's terrible. I would like to find out what it is and tell the people.
And can you commit to some kind
Oh,
of?
In fact,
talking
I'd
about
like
these
to do that.
drones?
Could we find out what that was, Susie? Okay? Yeah, why don't we find out? Immediately.
He's doing it now. Oh, this is so
Can't imagine
gangster.
it's an enemy, or there would have been, people would have gotten blown up all over. Maybe they were testing things. I don't know why they wouldn't have said what it was. They had a lot of them flying over Bedminster, which is interesting. Right?
And with the events today and yesterday, was everything moved inside just for cold weather, or was there some kind of security concern?
No security. Because they had everything shut down to drones. You can shut that down pretty easily if you're sophisticated. They're very sophisticated, these people. No, it was just cold weather. And we made a good move because, first of all, I thought it was incredible in the Capitol today. You know why I liked it? Because I got great reviews on that speech. I got great reviews. Can you believe it? They actually were fair.
This is
Maybe the fake news is changing.
unleashing energy
Yeah,
production. sir.
unleashing energy production. But I thought it was, I think having it in the Capitol is great. It's obviously, you can take care of the people you have to take care of. The city was booming. And if we would have done it outside, people would have been hurt because it was really cold. You know, it was like, looked sunny. But when you stood outside for 10 minutes, people were running back in. It was really cold and really windy. The wind brings it down a lot. So we made the right decision. You couldn't have stayed, I don't think you could have had it out. You know how cold it was today. It was,
So I gotta make sure I do
people
my
went out
Twitter,
for
you
a little
know?
while just to test it. They couldn't stay out more than 10 minutes. They all came back in.
The border's
So we
already
would
shut
have had a
down? Oh, yeah.
disaster if we did that, and people would have been hurt.
President, the unlawful disclosure deal, is that related?
Is it, what is it Tom Holland?
one?
Hammond? What is the director guy? What's his name? I like him a lot.
No, I think it's just more general than that. It's not Hunter Biden. I was surprised that President Biden would go and pardon his whole family, because that makes him look very guilty. You know, I could have pardoned my family. I could have pardoned myself, my family. I said, if I do that, it's going to make me look very guilty. I don't think I'd be sitting here, frankly. If I did that, I don't think I'd be sitting here right now, because I would have shown that you're guilty. But by pardoning his brother or brothers, by pardoning
Tom Holland is
all
the
of
young
those
dude. He
people,
plays
by
Spider-Man.
pardoning J6.
That's what I know.
The unselect
What's
committee,
the new
all of
guys?
the
Tom
documents.
Holland.
They deleted all of the information. There's no information. And a lot of the information pertains to Nancy Pelosi, because she was given 100, I mean, you know this, it's on tape with her daughter.
Oh, I'm an idiot.
Nancy Pelosi was responsible for not taking advantage of.
You're telling me Spider-Man's not in charge of the
10,000
border?
soldiers or 1,000. You wouldn't have you could have used
Oh,
400.
my spider senses are tingling.
It was a
Illegal
relatively
immigrants
small
are crossing the
crowd.
border.
It wasn't the crowd that was at the mall. It was a small crowd. So I was a little bit surprised that he did it, because it makes him look guilty. I mean, he's going to have to live with it. Now, with that being said, it's
LOL, no,
unbelievable
I'm an idiot.
precedent it creates for a
I'm having to
president.
look it up now.
But the precedent is unbelievable. Now maybe every president that leaves office, they're going to pardon every person they ever met, so they don't have some lunatic like deranged Jack Smith, who's a total lunatic, by the way. Not a smart guy, he's a dummy.
Hammond.
But we beat the
Tom
hell out of
Hammond.
him. And I helped my reputation.
Do you think you'd have to do the same thing at the end of this term?
Well, I guess now I have precedent to do it. I wouldn't want to do that, no. I think it makes you look very guilty. I think it makes Biden look very bad, very weak, and very guilty. And,
It's not his spider senses
I mean,
tingling.
he pardoned everybody. How
I don't
about
know.
this
There's some
J6
immigrants crossing the
committee?
border. He said,
Why
"Oh
is he
no,
pardoning them?
I needed to stop them."
The reason is because if you
Why is-
delete and destroy
Hi, Spider-Man Spanish now.
documentation, everything, they have nothing.
Hey,
because they were
Spider-Man, I
guilty
just
as
trying to
hell.
go home. I just want to
They
be at
rigged
home
it.
in the
It
land
was
of the
a rigged
free.
deal. And when you do that, they look very bad, but I
That's
was a
fucked
little
up.
surprised he did it. Liz Cheney, I mean, she's a lunatic. And
Goddamn.
she lost by the greatest margin in the history of a politician running for Congress, like 40 points. The reason it was the greatest is because anybody losing that badly is going to drop out. But she's a nut job. She doesn't drop out. You know, she just keeps chugging forward. And she lost by almost 40 points. That's the biggest number anybody's ever lost by. But why would Biden do that? He pardoned her and pardoned everybody. The reason is that they destroyed documents. And if you're even in a civil case, which this wouldn't be, I mean, people go to jail for a long time for doing that. What's this one?
That's unleashing American energy, sir. It relates to easing permitting processes and other regulatory systems to ensure that we can produce energy efficiently to drive the American economy forward.
President Trump, looking around the office, we noticed some changes from the way that Biden had it set up. Can you confirm that you have added back the Diet Coke play?
I think this, first of all, I
I
just
missed
got
the
here.
question. Is RFK
So
and
my
Diet
people
Coke?
came in, They have extraordinary decorator sense, right? Let me just see some of the pictures. That's a good one.
Is that that's
I
a
could
good.
live with him. I could live with George Washington, I can tell you. I could live with
There's Abe
Thomas
Lincoln.
Jefferson. I could live with most of them. They took a very safe route.
He wasted
They
no
didn't have- They
time.
don't have any bad ones.
No,
out there.
RFK did not. He said,
What is
okay,
this one?
day
Withdrawn
one,
from the World
red
Health
dye
Organization,
out,
so-
all of it out. I love it.
That's
I
a
love
big
it.
one.
He said, ooh.
So we paid $500 million to World Health when I was here, and I terminated it.
Yeah, fuck the World
China
Health
with
Organization. Fuck
1.4
the World
billion
Health
people.
Organization. Fuck the WHO.
We have
And
350.
the WIF.
We have, nobody knows what we have because so many people came in illegally, but let's say we have 325. They had 1.4 billion.
Big fan of
They were
RFK.
paying 39 million, we were paying 500.
I would have voted for him still, you know?
Seemed a little unfair to me. So that wasn't the reason, but I dropped out. They offered me to come back for 39 million. In theory, it should be less than that, but, you know. And when Biden came back, they came back for 500 million. He knew that you could have come back for 39 million. They wanted us back so badly, so we'll see what happens.
Mr. President,
Pretty sad though, think of it. China pays 39 million and we pay 500 million. And China's a bigger country.
Mr. President, you spoke about inflation today in your remarks. What actions are you taking today that will have a direct impact?
Like NATO,
on
we were footing the bills for other
Americans?
countries. Yeah, and they're the ones who are directly impacted by a lot of it.
Biggest
So why are we
thing,
paying the
factor
most?
For inflation
So that he even
is
said.
energy. They screwed up my energy
I'm also not the
policy.
biggest fan of NATO. Is
And
there,
then
as
they
you
went
said
back
though
to it.
earlier,
You know,
like there's some pros
they
and
hurt it
cons.
really badly, and then they went back to it and they started drilling more. But by that time, it was too late. Many of these things that we're signing and that Doug Burgum is going to be signing, and Chris Wright, who's phenomenal, at, Energy Department of Energy. We're going to be taking a lot. We're going to make a lot of money from energy. We have more than anybody else.
Yeah,
We're gonna
definitely,
make a
it's
lot
not
of money
right.
from energy.
Definitely
We're
not
gonna make
right.
a lot of money from tariffs. European Union charges us. They have a VAT tax of 20%, but it's really much higher than that. And that's the equivalent, almost the equivalent of a tariff.
One thing that he's brought up that I'm actually like it's a good point. It's like these countries. He's talking about like imposing 100% tariffs on other countries. It's like okay, cool. People are mad, like oh, it's gonna raise the bill. It's like, well, how much are they? What are their tariffs on us? Because apparently there's countries where we're paying like 50 to 75% tariffs.
Like a $300 billion
Why not impose the same equal amount of tariffs that they're doing on us? You know what I'm saying?
tariffs, or they have to buy our oil. The one thing they can do, our oil and gas, the one thing they can do to catch up quickly, buy our oil and gas.
Will you travel?
And they should do that.
Will you travel to China this year?
Yeah, it could be. I've had the invite.
Mr.
President, she's
President,
invited
I would
you
do it,
to
yeah.
come this year.
I would do it.
talking about the European Union and the
Trump going to
tariffs,
China, I'm
what
sure
do
would
you
be a
think when you
big
say
deal
that,
over there.
the
No,
European
it'd
Union
have
and
to be a
the
huge deal.
part of BRICS?
That it what?
BRICS. Is it
Oh, BRICS. No, I was talking about BRICS. BRICS is 6 nations. I think it's 7 nations. And they were looking to do a number in the United States. And if they do that, they won't be happy about what's going to happen to them.
Are you still considering a universal tariff, Mr. President, on all countries?
I may, yeah, but we're not ready for that yet. We may put it, wrap it,
Mr. President,
because essentially all countries take advantage of the U.S.
This
We
is-
don't make any good deals in the U.S. It's
Jay,
amazing.
Lo and I
way
were
that we
earlier,
exist.
and
We
I
don't make
said
good deals.
his name was
We
Tom
don't have any
Holland,
good
and then I
deals.
corrected myself, and then this is
We
what
have
she
a-
said
we have
back as a
deficit
meme.
With almost, not all, there are a couple.
I got
won't tell
trolled
you
by my
their names
girlfriend.
Because I don't want them to find out about
I
it.
got
'cause they'll feel
trolled by
stupid.
Lauren.
But there are a couple of countries that,
Oh, that's
actually don't make money with us. But I don't want to let you know because they'll immediately change that.
She asked me what his name was,
But
and I was so
we're gonna
confident
do-
that it was Tom
I tell you
Holland.
what, our country has an amazing economic future. I really believe that.
What kind of universal tariff if you did do one?
Well, you'd put a universal tariff on anybody doing business in the United States because they're coming in and they're stealing our wealth. They're
I don't know if
stealing
I
our
remember,
jobs,
but I
they're
remember
stealing
one
our
time products used to say
companies,
made in the USA.
our companies.
Some clothes, Gap
So
clothing,
you put a tariff on to keep them from.
Great
doing it.
American product or something like that. Yeah.
There's also a whole bunch of billionaires today.
If you remember Gap, that's the one. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Is there anything else that I'm missing? Ford.
Well, he had a lot of guys.
How far back do we want to
Yeah,
go?
They found out that he didn't know what the hell he was talking about, and I think they deserted him. They deserted him. Those same guys.
However,
Look, I don't
sometimes
make
I get some
pretenses,
weed.
smart guys.
Shit's grown in Cali.
There are a lot of smart
That's made
people
in
around, but
that's
they
made in the
did desert
USA.
him. They were all with him, every one of them. Now they're all with me. I don't know. It's not going to get anything from me. I don't need money. But I do want the nation to do well, and they're smart people, and they have, you know, they create a lot of jobs. And if they don't do it, China's going to do it. You know what they've done?
You grew up in the 80s and
is
90s.
they've
94 was
taken
my birth.
industries and they've taken it away.
94, baby.
They outsmarted China. And, you know, we sort of like that. It's okay. They've done a great job. A lot of them, not all of them.
Protecting women from radical gender ideologies.
Ooh.
Mr. President, going back to the World Health Organization, you were the president.
Fuck the
during
World Health
COVID.
Organization.
Don't you see the importance of organization like that to coordinate a global response?
No.
Sure, I do, but not when you're being ripped off like we are by the World Health. World Health
81,
ripped
baby?
us
Nice.
off. Everybody rips off the United States, and that's it. It's
Right on
not
the
gonna
money.
happen anymore. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, guys, let's go.
One last one, sir. This is your Martin Luther
Thank you,
King Day
guys.
proclamation.
Thank you, press. Thank you, sir. Thank you, press.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Let's go. Thanks, press.
Wow.
Thank you, guys.
This is Martin Luther
Let's go, guys.
What are we doing on this stuff?
All right, guys, let's go.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
So much paperwork. So much paperwork.
Yeah.
Recording, is this off? Recording?
Yeah, we'll come back. We'll come back. Just make sure my bars are off.
If you're picking up what I'm putting down, then please like the video, subscribe, and if you really like it, then share it with some of your friends. My goal here is to spread a positive message while sprinkling my 2 cents on big topics like American, Indian, and world geopolitics, and even small stuff like Twitch drama and online debacles. And if you want to see it live, come join me over on Twitch. Twitch.tv/ActuallyElrod. That's where I'm going to do all my reactions, and after the reactions, that's where we get down a game. And if you're like, hey, I have a video that I want this dude to sprinkle his 2 cents on, then come over on my Discord and let me know and join the community there. And while we're at it, I have to say thank you to everybody who has made that Discord just so poppin'. I never thought I'd have a Discord that's so flowing. It's really cool to see. Shout out to you, Bobby, Omni, Demon, all of you who have been in there who are just super active. Logie, you're the man. Logie is the one who's like modding and helping run the server, so thank you, Logie. Lastly, I challenge you. I have a challenge for you. Make somebody laugh today. We all know there's enough hate and vitriol in the world. If energy is contagious like the flu, then let's spread and get everyone contagious with our positive energy, right? Not negative energy, because there's so much of that, and if we could just be a small little change in someone's day, then you never know. Maybe that's the thing that starts shifting this world to a happier, healthier, just better place. And with all that said and done, thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.